This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
This is the Friday edition of the Meltdown, a fun Friday edition, hopefully, of the show, and we are absolutely ecstatic about being here with you live from the Culver studio. I am Tim Melton. Joining me here, as always, the one and only Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, how you doing on this Friday, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. Looking forward to the weekend. Planning on catching the Looney Tunes movie tonight. You know I love my Looney
You
Tunes.
love the Looney
Yep.
Tunes, and I believe, Jeff had talked about having uh, the Looney Tunes collection that he wanted to sort of restore and everything, and he had some Looney Tunes physical media come in, so he's very excited about that. It is a Looney Tunes type weekend for sure. There's a lot to get into today to really wind down what has been a week full of headlines that some have broken today, some have broken earlier this week, but we're going to have a complete wrap up here on the show for you today. We appreciate Boomer being here with us. We appreciate Hunter in the chat. Make sure you have your voice heard right there in the live chat. And who knows, maybe even become a member like Smuff. We appreciate Smuff and his loyal membership here to Meltdonia. Let's get right into it. It's a little bit of a weird time here in central Alabama because we're all sort of bracing for what is going to be a storm event, multiple storm events. Starts tonight, Friday evening, then goes into tomorrow, where from like 2 to midnight, the entire state is under threat of severe weather. Now, if you do not live in Alabama, or if you've never lived in Alabama, we take our storms very seriously. We take our storm coverage very seriously. We have a history here of like real stuff, um, real horrible stuff happening with bad storms. Um, and there's a lot of people, I think, on edge right now, wondering exactly how everything's going to play out. My hope is that come Monday, we get here in the Culver studio and we basically talk about how it was nothing. There was no event whatsoever. But you got to prepare as if there is an event. Tyler, I know you're taking precautions as well. I don't want you in some dark, dank theater watching some sort of Sasquatch movie while there's horrible stuff happening outside, because I can see that somehow you end up in that situation.
Yeah, they just random re-release of Sasquatch Sunset. You just go, oh yeah, why not? Midnight while the storm's brewing.
Exactly. That would not be what I would recommend as an actual good plan to have there. So make sure that you have a plan in place. If you are a Meltdonian who lives here in the state of Alabama, the entire state under threat of severe weather this weekend. So stay prepared. Keep up with James Spann or whoever your favorite local meteorologist is, and be safe and be here on Monday. And let's celebrate our love of entertainment and pop culture and escapism. But I felt like I had to say something about that for sure. Let's start off with what I think has been a very frustrating development in my life, and that is we went to Barnes and Noble. Me, you, and Hunter Bussey took a trip out to Barnes and Noble, multiple trips. And one of those trips, I found an Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom 4K steelbook.
It was beat.
I picked it up and it was like there were marbles in there. It's like there was rocks.
You could just rattle it around.
Every time you moved it, it was just like things were rolling in there. And I was like, that's not a good sign. And it's sealed, so I can't open it up. And Hunter's like, just take it to the front. They'll open it up for you and show you. And I was like, I don't want to go through that whole thing. And plus, once they open it, am I going to, I'm probably still going to want it. And I don't know. I'm just going to leave it here on
You're
the
gonna
show.
feel pressured to buy it at that
Right.
point.
Exactly. So I went online and I found a steal of a deal. 50% off the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 4K steelbook on Barnes and Noble's website. This was like a month later or a few weeks later. And I was patient and there's 50% off deal and I purchased it and it came in yesterday. And I'm um disappointed. So I got it, right? This is it. Okay. Probably looks pretty good on camera.
It does.
Probably looks okay. I mean, I love this movie. This was my favorite Indiana Jones movie growing up. It's still my favorite Indiana Jones movie. It's the one that leans into more of the horror elements. And if you open it up, I'll show the digital code there just in case there's any sort of pirates out there. All right. So sorry, Tyler. This is it. All right. Looks pretty good. This is the bridge sequence where they're trying to cut the ropes and Indy's having to fight back on the bridge. It's a sharp looking 4K disc and everything. It even comes with a collectible poster. And I think this is a great Indiana Jones poster.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
love this look for this poster, the theatrical release poster. Good stuff. Now, so what's the problem, Tim? The problem is, and you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but this thing has been almost like bent this way
Oh
to
no.
where it's
Oh,
got
I
a
see it.
major defect. And if you just even press this, it's got like a clicking that is
So
really weak.
I've heard
Shouldn't be able to do that with the steelbook.
you should not. You were correct. I have heard that Barnes and Noble is really good about replacing stuff like this. So I would definitely get in contact with customer service.
Yeah, I probably should. You know me though, Tyler. I'm this is my problem in life. I don't know what it is. But like I kind of like things that have a little defect to them. I kind of like having them and keeping them. And like it's like a bird with a broken wing. I like to bring it in, just rock it,
I
take
don't
care of
think
it.
you're nursing that steelbook back to health.
You don't know what I'm doing with this steelbook. No, I'm just kidding. I am nursing it. Anyway, sorry, that's a horrible joke. Um, I'm so sorry. What's happening? Did we ingest something before the show? I don't think we did. Anyway, this is weak sauce, and
I had a burrito. I don't know about you.
I'm just joking. Right now I'm thinking of the "Can you milk me, Greg?" scene in
Uh,
Meet the Parents. That's all I'm thinking about. Anyway, this is disappointing, but it's kind of got like a feature. Mine has a feature that nobody else's has. I've got like a button I can push on mine.
See that's the return to store if button is popped.
Yeah,
But
that's exactly what
it's the safety button they have on pickle jars.
Tyler, you're exactly right. You are 100% correct in the way you think about it, but I actually kind of like that now I have a story to go along with my 4K steelbook. Like, I kind of like things that aren't necessarily completely pristine. I like things with a little scar, a battle wound. I don't know. It's something about my personality. Okay, let's go to this. I know this is the topic you wanted to talk about today. Freakier Friday. We have a trailer that has released for this.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah. It's
Ooh.
less than 2 minutes long, the trailer. It's like a minute 44 or something. I don't know. It's minute 48. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. They're back after the 2003 movie that came out. Were you ever a fan of that movie?
No.
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 It's times like this where I really miss EG because I
Yeah,
feel
the whole time I was watching that trailer, I was just thinking, this is a movie EG would really appreciate.
no EG on the show today. She's with her family over in the state of Georgia, so she'll be back on Monday. But there was a whole bunch of EG humor in this Freakier Friday trailer. And I want to ask her about it, and she's not here. So Freakier Friday released a trailer, and it looks very much not like something that we would enjoy. So there we
It
go.
it doesn't even look like a movie you would release in theaters. It looks like a straight to streaming sequel.
I think they were playing it either way, where it's like we'll go through the process and then figure out whether or not we want to release it in theaters. But I think they are going to release it in theaters. So there we have it. Okay, there's something else. Now this one excites me. Okay, this excites me. I started seeing all these rumors that The Dark Knight is re-releasing in May in the
Yeah,
theaters.
May
Right?
23rd.
Correct. However, you go to the AMC app,
Yeah, I know.
you type it in, and what does it say? Do you know?
Uh, I saw a listing for it. It just didn't have any.
This is what I have. Dark Knight double feature. Okay?
I did not see that.
That's
I,
game
d- I,
changer.
I, I did not see that.
Dark Knight double feature. Now, there are no showtimes listed yet, and there are no details. This is what I'm thinking. Hear me out. We're at the 20th anniversary of Batman Begins, which is
Yeah,
my favorite Batman movie ever made.
Begins.
I love Batman Begins. Really, I saw that movie 8 times in the theater, and it completely there's people that say they see things and it changed their life, but I really feel like Batman Begins changed my life. I mean, I became obsessed with that movie. Love it. So I have not seen it on the big screen since 2005.
I've never seen it on the big screen.
I want to see Batman Begins on the big screen. I've seen Dark Knight multiple times on the big screen. And I'm talking about 2008. I'm talking about 2015. I'm talking about, just multiple times I've seen it. I've seen Dark Knight Rises multiple times in its original run and its re-release. I've not been able to see Batman Begins re-released in my lifetime. And I want that. So, if Batman Begins, which is my second favorite movie of all time, behind La La Land, if Batman Begins, I know that's a
That
strange.
is such an odd 1 and 2, but that's you.
If it was called, Los Angeles Connection or something, people would not think it was so goofy when I said it. But with me, it's always like La La Land. How do I not say it where it sounds like I'm ordering some sort of apple martini along with it?
Yeah. It's also just odd the words La La Land
Yeah.
coming from your friend.
I love Jaws. I love Batman. And I love La La Land. It's like people are always like, "Whoa, calm down." Anyway, I don't mean to joke. Yes, I do. But La La Land is my favorite movie, but Batman Begins is my second favorite movie of all time, and I have not been able to see it in the theater in 20 years after having seen it 8 times. Like Oppenheimer has gotten more re-releases than Batman Begins, and Oppenheimer came out 2 years ago. So, come on now. Let's get Batman Begins and then The Dark Knight back to back in the theater, please. Please do this. This makes so much sense. You want people to come to the theater, you want them to enjoy things. People are gonna go support that. A double feature, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. I don't need The Dark Knight Rises in there. I don't.
I don't
I
either.
like the movie. I don't love the movie. Batman Begins, followed by The Dark Knight. Boom, boom.
Give
Punch.
me a Brutalist style 15-minute intermission to run to the restroom and refill my drink. We'll we'll call it square.
Tell me that's not a good time.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's such a good time that I wanted to do it last time they brought all the Batman movies back out for re-release.
Yep.
But because we live in Birmingham and not a bigger city, we couldn't do that.
I only was able to see 2 of them in the re-release. And I know they did The Batman here recently that we got screwed over on, and I
Yep.
didn't get a chance to see that re-release. But I got to see at Premiere Cinemas a re-release of The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, and it was glorious. But there was no re-release of Batman Begins. I guess they thought like people don't like that one as much, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to do the whole thing. If you're gonna do all, you're gonna do the other 2, you got to do that one. So
Yeah, this re-release was it's like all premium formats as well.
yeah.
It's a shame.
It is. But anyway, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that, but it opens up the same weekend as Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
And Lilo and Stitch.
And Lilo and Stitch?
Memorial Day weekend, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a big weekend. Right now it is dead at the box office, but it's about to heat up, especially if we end up getting the Dark Knight double feature that I'm hoping we get. Okay, so there's that. I'm monitoring that, but it's at least listed in the AMC app, which gives me hope that that's what's exactly going to be happening. Ted Lasso officially renewed for season 4 at Apple TV Plus. Jason Sudeikis is returning in the title role. No other castings have officially been confirmed at this time, though it has previously been reported that options had been picked up for Hannah Waddingham, Brett Goldstein, and Jeremy Swift. Sudeikis said in a statement, quote, "As we all continue to live in a world where so many factors have conditioned us to look before we leap, in season 4, the folks at AFC Richmond learn to leap before they look, discovering that wherever they land, it's exactly where they're meant to be." There's a lot of Ted Lasso fans, and a lot of people who don't like entertainment that love Ted Lasso. It brings in a lot of people to Apple TV Plus for sure. Have you ever gotten into Ted Lasso, Tyler?
Haven't seen a single bit of it. I do like Jason Sudeikis though.
Yeah, he's great. I've seen season 1. Haven't seen any further seasons. I liked it. I didn't love it, but there's a lot of people who do, and it's important to know that it is definitely coming back. This one should be the least shocking headline of the day. Landman officially coming back for season 2 at Paramount Plus. Yeah, it's a huge hit. I mean,
Yeah.
and
It's
is it
not. It's
Taylor
Taylor Sheridan,
Sheridan?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he only writes shows to be 5, 6 seasons and have spin-offs planned. So I imagine we'll be seeing a lot more of Landman.
I would love to know Taylor Sheridan's net worth. We don't do the net worth thing a lot on this show compared to the next round, but do you know that information off the top of your head? Because you've done so much research for the next round that I'm sure that has come up at some point. But I would love to know his net worth because he's on fire when it comes to producing television. And everything he produces, it seems, turns to gold. But who knows if it's even out there?
Reportedly. Oh no! Wait, hang on. That's how much he paid for that ranch. He paid 320 million for it.
Okay, so he had that to just,
I,
pay in cash.
I mean, well, somebody's saying he's worth 70 million. I don't. Hmm.
I don't think
And
that.
then somebody says they just Yellowstone is worth 600 million.
Correct. This will be the big question of our times. I finally have stumped the net worth geniuses of Google there.
In one of the top articles, the headline read, "Taylor Sheridan's net worth is truly staggering."
I would think it's huge.
Yeah.
I would think it's huge. We go to this. Seth Rogen has come out and said that Sony didn't want Jonah Hill using a PlayStation in Superbad because the characters were so reprehensible. They were like, quote, "We can't have him interact with our products as a character because it's too vile a character." And I was like, "It's based on me. That's very insulting." Sony made the movie, and we were told that Jonah Hill's character Seth was so reprehensible to the studio. There's a scene where they're playing video games, and it was like, Jonah can't touch a PlayStation. That's interesting, right? Sort of the behind the scenes.
I saw that and I believe it.
Oh, yeah,
Sony's super protective of their IP, and yeah, Jonah Hill's dialogue in that is not PlayStation friendly.
definitely not. When you think back to those like late 2000s, mid late 2000s comedies,
Mhm.
Superbad up there in the top 5 for you?
Absolutely.
For me, it has never been. I'm more of a fan of Knocked Up than I am Superbad.
Oh no, all right.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that it's subjective and that's just more as my taste. I prefer Knocked Up. I prefer 40-Year-Old Virgin over Superbad. I prefer Forgetting Sarah Marshall over Superbad.
I prefer
Prefer
super bad over
I'll
all of
take
those.
Anchorman, Old School, Wedding Crashers. I'll take all that over Superbad.
Nope.
Okay. So Superbad, is it at the top of your list now? Or
I
are you
mean,
like
define early 2000s. What time
sort
frame
of
are we going
okay,
with?
so we're going with like 2003 to 2013, that sort of stretch.
Ooh, to
Like that
2013.
decade, yeah.
Step Brothers is above super bad. I don't know if I'd put Talladega Nights over super bad.
This could be a fun Lionel's list at some point.
Oh yeah,
Going through and making these like PG-13 R-rated comedies of the Brat Pack. Not the Brat Pack. Was it the Brat Pack?
Frat Pack.
Prat Pack. That's what I'm looking for. Knew I'd gotten that wrong. Okay, we go to this. Sharon Stone has come out and claims in an Instagram comment that she was cast and then dropped from Paul Feig upcoming Another Simple Favor, which is the Blake Lively movie with who's she star with in that movie that was in Pitch Perfect? Anna Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. Man, we're really EG heavy today. That would have been another
Yeah,
EG thing.
you looked at me and you're like, "Who was that in Pitch Perfect?" I'm just thinking like,
Exactly. I'm so sorry.
yeah, yeah. Who
So,
was
I'm
that?
so sorry. La La Land. I loved being cast and removed from my role unexpectedly for no reason at all. Loved it, Stone wrote on Instagram. So, sounds pretty sour there. Isn't Sharon Stone going to be in something big coming up here soon? Isn't there some casting announcement
There
about?
is. I saw something.
Yeah, she's going to be in something major, and I don't even remember what it is. But I don't know. Sharon Stone, a lot of people have commented that they hope that she saved money over the years, but I don't know. I that's a horrible update, by the way, from me. I saw that Sharon Stone's going to be casting something big here soon, but I don't know what it is, and I cannot remember.
Euphoria, season 3 of Euphoria. That's what it is.
They talked about it on. You guys talked about it on the next round, so
That's right.
that's where I
Yes.
heard it. But yes, Euphoria. If there is a season 3, I think there will be. I think it's official.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's been through production hell. But I think Sharon Stone won't be dropped from that.
I don't know how they're gonna land the plane with how it is, because you can't set up a season 4 with as much work as it's taken just to get season 3 off the ground.
Yeah.
So
Probably everybody dies in it. That would be my guess. We go to this. Nikki Glazer will officially return to host the Golden Globes in January of 2026, which will air on CBS and stream on Paramount Plus. She said, quote, probably should have read this before I read it out loud. Hosting the Golden Globes this year was without a doubt the most fun I have ever had in my career. I can't wait to do it again, and this time in front of the team from The White Lotus, who will finally recognize my talent and cast me in season 4 as a Scandinavian Pilates instructor with a shadowy past. Okay. Here's one thing I never thought I would say. I thought Nikki Glazer did a better job hosting the Golden Globes than Conan O'Brien did hosting the Oscars. I like both of them. They both did great. But I thought Nikki Glazer was on fire at
she
the
was
Golden
on her
Globes.
A game.
Perfect blend of like punchy without being mean. Like
Yep.
very entertaining. I was extremely impressed by Nikki Glazer at the Golden Globes. She's been asked to come back and she's going to host. Could she be looked at in Golden Globes hosting history as the second best host ever after Ricky Gervais once her run is done? Because he had multiple appearances, and every time he was on there, I mean, it became a huge spectacle. Everyone wants him to come back.
Yes.
But Nikki Glazer's a pretty good option B for trying to keep that show interesting.
Yeah, I think they could honestly just pass it back and forth.
That
Nikki
would be
Glazer and Ricky Gervais.
that would be awesome. Be awesome. Conan O'Brien, meanwhile, reveals the Oscars opening that got cut. I don't know if you've heard about this. I think it's actually pretty funny.
They couldn't put clothes on an Oscar or lay him horizontally.
Conan says, quote, it was the idea that, oh, Conan's now going to goof on all the movies, and it starts with him, and he's in Wicked, and he's been dyed green, and he's finishing Defying Gravity. And he finishes it, and then the next thing is he's in Gladiator 2 all of a sudden. And then clang, clang, clang with swords, and you see that he's a gladiator, but then you also notice that he's still green. But then you go on to Conclave, and you see people voting with their ballots, and one of the hands putting in a ballot is still green. And then Conan would have eventually popped up in Dune Part 2, where Javier Bardem was going to break the fourth wall by calling out Conan O'Brien for starting the parody by going green for Wicked. The whole thing was that the dye wouldn't come off, and we had to shoot it in one day. He also said that characters like Count Orlok from Nosferatu were going to be in it, piling on him for the mistake. That sounds like a fun opening, doesn't it?
That sounds like a fun bit.
He did a bit when he hosted the Emmys where he's in all the different locations for the television shows, and he like falls through the roof of the office while they're in there working. It's very funny. But like Conan is hilarious, but that would have been a great opening. Instead, they went with the Substance opening where he's, reaching in Demi Moore's back and everything. It worked out great, though. Oscar winner Barry Jenkins has officially found his next film. He's still got a movie in the top 10, Mufasa. We talk about it almost every week. It's still holding strong there. He's got a new sci-fi thriller starring Glenn Powell that's coming out. The project is titled The Natural Order, and it comes from an unpublished manuscript by Matthew Aldrich, who did the movie Coco, and revolves around the pursuit of eternal life. One of the most in-demand actors today is Glenn Powell.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's got a lot of things in the pipeline now. If those start to suck, or they don't start to hit, or The Running Man's an atrocity, which is one of my 10 most anticipated movies of the year this year.
Made my list as well.
We're very excited about that one. If that movie doesn't work, that sort of sci-fi dystopian take, and then he's got another sci-fi movie coming out, and there's going to be some stank on it, right? Immediately. Like, this is a big risk. What this tells me is that The Running Man is probably going to be very good. Because I don't think you hire Glenn Powell to be in this role and do a sci-fi project. I don't think he takes on a sci-fi project if he feels like The Running Man is going to suck.
True. Yeah.
So I have more confidence in The Running Man now. But that's just me. How about you? You've never been a Glenn Powell hater.
That's true. I've never been a big Glenn Powell hater or fan. He's just kind of like, yeah, I can see why he's got that star power. He's very personable on camera, in interviews. And he just seems like he knows how to market himself very well. Um, I think that I mean, like you said, if the running man fails, then everything else he's got in the pipeline
It's a domino
is
effect.
gonna be bad.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
domino.
It's a big risk there. We have another casting bit of news here. Daniel Radcliffe has officially been cast in an upcoming NBC comedy that stars opposite Tracy Morgan. Like, if you were to have asked me yesterday, who are two actors that just you don't know if they would just work together? Daniel Radcliffe and Tracy Morgan. But the more I think about it, the more I want to watch it. Like, honestly, when you first hear it, you're like, but when you start to think like Daniel Radcliffe and Tracy Morgan, that could be fun. That could be fun. Daniel Radcliffe's a funny guy.
He's a funny guy when he gets the opportunity to do like
Yeah.
sketch works and bits and stuff. He can really just lose himself in the character. And there's few I don't know what it's on because I admittedly I only caught it on Instagram Reels, but the bit was Daniel Radcliffe just saying, "Do you know how much money I have? You have nothing. I am Harry Potter. What are you? Who are you?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I have Alan Rickman's number in my phone."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good stuff. We'll see what kind of energy he brings to this, but it is from the same group that did the 30 Rock show. And the official logline says, quote, a disgraced former football player, played by Tracy Morgan, is on a mission to rehabilitate his image. So I guess Daniel Radcliffe plays like his publicist or something, or plays his agent, or plays somebody who feels like they can turn Tracy Morgan back into the superstar he used to be publicly. But it's fascinating. That's fascinating. Keep your eyes on that
What
one.
what is Tracy Morgan up to these days? I feel like the last time I heard his name was him somebody crashing into his Bugatti.
So I just saw him this week actually
Really?
on Everybody's Live
Oh, with John Mulaney.
with John Mulaney. He popped up. He played so there's Queen Latifah, he played King Latifah, which I thought was very funny. Like, just the idea of it.
Yeah, I like
It
that.
didn't get huge laughs, but he's in the audience. And it's like, we're looking to book guests and we ended up booking King Latifah. And it goes to him sitting there and he's in like a pharaoh's outfit. It's very like John Mulaney's humor works for me. And he just John Mulaney was missing his beats because he's trying to do this live show. He's hosting, he's taking calls, he's trying to turn this thing into the ultimate talk show.
Hmm.
And then he does this bit and like Tracy Morgan sitting there in the crowd like waiting for John Mulaney to say his next line. And like you're thinking when you're watching, you're thinking Tracy Morgan's screwing this up. But really, it's John Mulaney because you can tell, oh, John Mulaney's got to set up the next punchline. And then John Mulaney jumps in like, oh, and by the way, and it was real funny because, Tracy Morgan was ready to perform. He was ready to go there and perform, and then, he kind of missed the beat. So it made it funnier, actually. All right, this is our main topic today. Sadie Sink officially joining the cast of Spider-Man 4 there in the MCU. I happened to walk into a room last night that was playing the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, the original. That movie still holds up.
Oh yeah, 1 and 2 for sure.
I haven't seen one in a while, but one is so good. I think I like one more than two. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin, who we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home, but he's just electric in that role. You have a James Franco pre the Me Too movement that's like perfectly cast as his son, as Harry Osborn. You have an Uncle Ben and an Aunt May that look like Uncle Ben and Aunt May. I mean, they're older and you know they look like what you would expect Uncle Ben and Aunt May to look.
And how
Took
about J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, one of the greatest casting choices in history?
We did a fantasy superhero draft of casting, of best casting choices ever,
Hmm.
and I got him in the third round, and it was a steal. It's an
Yes.
absolute steal. The minute I did it, you at least admitted like, oh, damn.
Oh no,
Like,
I hit the table and went no
yeah. Like I
because
think he was maybe looked at as someone you could take is like a sneaky later pick because he doesn't.
That's exactly what it was. I was like, I'm gonna hold on to J.K. Simmons in my back pocket because you know, you don't want to go straight for him because he's not necessarily top of mind, but he's a first round draft pick
Yes.
caliber.
I got Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Tony Stark. Then I got Christopher Reeve as Superman. Then I got J. Jonah Jameson. At that point, it was just like, oh my God, you know, quit throwing punches. The match is over. This is supposed to be an exhibition. And I was thrilled. That one really, really sealed it up for me. So when I saw him on screen, that's what I thought of. You know, I thought of like how fun that was. And his performance is so good, so funny, so funny. And I'm watching it going, I can't believe that's the Whiplash guy. Like, you know, I'm watching it like two totally different worlds there, but both tough people to work for. But yeah, that Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie is so good. Tobey Maguire's my personal favorite Spider-Man. I think, you know, part of it's I grew up with that Spider-Man. The other part of it is like when I saw them all together, he was the one that made me the most excited to see on screen. I thought Andrew Garfield did great in that No Way Home movie. But his movies I don't want to revisit whatsoever.
Same here. I really liked him in No Way Home, but I like him in No Way Home a lot more than in The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Same. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is probably the worst Spider-Man movie that's ever been made. Spider-Man 3 is
Yeah.
pretty bad though.
Yeah,
So,
Spider-Man 3 is rough, but I just have no love for the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 3, I was talking to you before the show and I told you that like even 8-year-old me was disappointed with Spider-Man 3, but there is like a special little nostalgic place in my heart for it.
yeah, sure. It was a movie with a huge buildup, and we were going to get to see Venom, and that was going to be awesome, and it didn't turn out to be awesome.
They'd never even called him Venom.
And they had way too many villains. You know, we've talked about that. They had way too many villains in the movie. But Spider-Man 3 was not good. And I'm excited about the future of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies because they've been so consistent so far. All three movies have been good. I don't think No Way Home is the best Spider-Man. I actually prefer the other two. No Way Home was an event.
Yes.
Like people were geeking out, freaking out. Oh my gosh. Like it made a ton of money, but then it became a movie that nobody really talks about anymore. And that does not mean it's bad or that it wasn't a real win. It doesn't feel like it has the narrative staying power that it should have, being that massive of a hit. Like people still talk about Endgame. I think maybe it's MCU overall that's hurt it too. Like,
Yes.
because everyone talks about post Endgame, MCU's been awful. Well, there's been like two exceptions to that rule. One is Spider-Man No Way Home, which
Mhm.
I think is $1 billion movie. I
I
mean,
want to
it's
say it's a
gotta be.
billion-dollar movie, yeah.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mhm.
But those were just like band-aids, nostalgia hits, team ups. Like those movies almost fall into a different category compared to what we saw from the narrative linear structure of the MCU post Endgame. Like people forget about how big a hits those two movies are. Even I did when I asked Hunter Bussey, like, well, what was the last great MCU comedy? It was Deadpool and Wolverine. I just didn't think of it as an MCU comedy because it's such an outlier.
Right.
Like it doesn't feel like it even counts. It feels like it's a one-off. And that's the way No Way Home felt. And I think that hurts it in its sort of its legacy. But with all that being said, Sadie Sink is now joining Spider-Man 4. There's a lot of rumors around what sort of role Sadie Sink
Yes.
will be playing. The only thing I know Sadie Sink from is The Whale, because that's the only thing I've seen her in. I'm not a Stranger Things fan. You've seen Sadie Sink before. You actually had Sadie Sink on a Lionel's list.
I did. I had her in my list of potential future X-Men casting choices because she's been rumored to play Jean Grey in the MCU. Now, we could have gotten the wrong mutant because there are now rumors swirling around that she's playing Firestarter as like an homage to I believe it was Spidey and his amazing friends, but I really don't see how that would help in the greater MCU picture
Yeah.
because I don't think Spider-Man 4 is a street level Spider-Man movie anyway. I think it's supposed to be another multiverse movie. So it wouldn't make sense for it to be Firestarter, in my opinion. The other rumor is that they're just bringing back Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, I
That
don't buy
makes
that.
no sense. You have Tom Holland and Zendaya engaged, and
Yeah.
they already made Zendaya Michelle Jones, but you can call me MJ. Like that is the MJ stand-in for this universe. No matter who you'd like to see in that role or what character you'd like to see them bring in. I've seen rumors that they're bringing in a Gwen Stacy. I don't put any stock into that either. There's just people projecting what they want onto the movie, I believe. Another rumor is Spider-Man 4 introduces Black Cat. I see that as having some potential, except for casting Sadie Sink. Why you cast a redhead and then just throw a blonde wig on her? I'll never know. But
Kind of what they did when it came to Emma Stone being cast in The
that's
Amazing
true.
Spider-Man. Like, she was a notoriously known redhead, and they make her like that sort of light blonde hair look, and that didn't work out.
Well, Gwen Stacy traditionally, I think, was blonde. Anyway,
Sure, but why cast predominant redhead to play that role? You know, like, she did good in the role, don't get me
yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
but, like, it was always like, you know, are we gonna do this again, basically? Are we gonna cast a redhead to then only make them a blonde?
yeah.
So, I hope
So,
not.
but I also think all of this depends on how they're looking to treat the memory spell, because I've seen some rumors saying like Spider-Man's gonna keep it the way it is, and that's what allows things like Black Cat to jump into the fold. But then I've also seen more recent articles suggesting that a lot of Spider-Man 4 is going to be trying to get rid of the memory spell. So that means there's no sense in casting a Gwen Stacy or a Mary Jane Watson,
Yeah.
or even a Black Cat, because that's the primary interest there is like a side love interest slash like, excuse me, crime fighting partner. But I'm still leaning towards Jean Grey and it being a way to bridge into more X-Men territory.
We will see if you're correct. I think you are incorrect. I think they're done with the whole, like, let's just keep trying to mine Jean Grey and make her a character that matters. I really do think that they're gonna be like, anybody but Jean Grey, you know, like, that may be the last option. Now, we'll see. Once we get some set photos that leak,
That's true.
that'll help us
Yeah.
a lot.
But I mean, Spider-Man 4 currently set to release in between Secret Wars and Doomsday. So
It's gonna be a big one.
it's going to be a big one, and it'll be right about the time the X-Men would be rumored to jump into the fray, because they need to be in Secret Wars because they're going to be on Battle World.
The current state of the MCU at this point in time on March 14th of 2025. It is March 14th, right? March 14th of 2025. The thing that how long is March, by the way? Anyway, sorry.
How
Uh,
many days?
how many days? But the MCU's at a low point. And when we come back and watch this, hopefully a couple years from now, we'll remember this feeling of where we're at as MCU fans or as hopeful MCU fans. That Brave New World has just released. It's going to underperform and potentially lose the studio $100 million, maybe more than that. And we'd come off a bunch of misfires minus Deadpool and Wolverine here lately. And I really hope future MCU fan that you're coming back and watching this and you're really enjoying the run that the MCU is on in its almost second life, because it's been tough sledding over the past couple of years. But we're going to get back to glory, hopefully, because those are some bangers coming out later on. We'll see which character Sadie Sink plays. My favorite thing about Sinks, spitting into them. And I do that over at Alabama.
What a
Is that
segue.
the worst one or the best one?
I'm not sure.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
But head on over to the dental team that we trust most, located on Grants Mill Road. That's Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over there at Alabama Dental Associates, providing you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Whether you have major work that needs to be done or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings, they are there for you, and they care about your pain management. If you're someone who hates going to the dentist because you always find yourself in pain, they will make sure you're comfortable there in their chair at Alabama Dental Associates. Try them for yourself. I'm a patient, you should be too. Call them right now to make an appointment. 205-956-8977. Visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Okay, it's time to play a little game that we have not played in a long time. It's called Pick Your Picture.
I've never played this.
That's a funny line. That's a very funny line. That's some inside baseball there. Um, let's go to this. Pick your picture. I'm going to explain how this works. There's two theaters. Okay. You're being drug out of work. You're being drug out of your home. You're being drug out of wherever you may be right now. The Culver studio, even. There are two theaters. There's theater A, there's theater B. You're blindfolded and you're being drugged with handcuffs on. And you're being placed into one of these theaters, and you have to sit down with a big bucket of popcorn, nice big soda. What
How am
else
I
you want in
supposed to
there?
enjoy my popcorn and soda if I'm handcuffed?
You will be uncuffed. I have not gotten to that point yet, but once you are set down, you are uncuffed, and you can enjoy the movie. One of two movies is going to start playing. You get to choose which theater you're drug into, though. So that's the whole luxury part of this. After being hogtied in the van. Okay, here we go. Theater A. There's a theme with these.
Mm.
Okay, there's a theme with these. All these movies came out, I think, in the same year or very small way apart, and they all are very similar. So I've got a list of these. Here we go. Are you going with Theater A and watching 1998's Armageddon, or Theater B with 1998's Deep Impact? You don't have to have seen either one of these to have an opinion of which one you want to be
I'll,
forced to see.
I'll give Deep Impact a try. I've never seen it, and I've never been a big fan of Armageddon.
I think Armageddon is better than Deep Impact.
Oh, okay.
There are fans that are torn in picking one or the other. I don't know. Let me know in the chat which one you would rather go to, Armageddon or Deep Impact. The sort of cultural relevance of Armageddon, it had more star power, it had a better soundtrack, it had more pizzazz, and Armageddon typically got more love from the masses. But those are the two movies that are thrown out there for Theater A or Theater B.
Jeff and Nick are going Theater A and seeing Armageddon, and Hunter is going with Theater B and seeing Deep Impact.
Okay. Well, you guys have fun. I know in the chat you guys want to write A or B. That could get very confusing here soon when
Yes.
we go down the list. So try to write the name of the title of the movie. That will help a lot. So thank you guys. Okay. Next up. It's 2004, Tyler. It's not 2004, but there's 2004 movies as you've been hogtied in a 2004 van that's drug you to a 2025 movie theater. Here we go. Are you seeing in Theater A, Freddy versus Jason? Or Theater B, Alien versus Predator? Both came out in 2004.
Oh, that's
Is that fair?
yeah,
Fair comparison?
yeah. Neither one of them are particularly good. I'm going Freddy versus Jason. That has like a place of nostalgia in my heart, just because it's so stupid, and I feel like that was one of the first R-rated movies I ever saw. Because it's like it's something that like you go over to your friend's house and like they might have a copy of it, or their older brother has a copy of it.
Yep. So I have a long history with one of these movies, and that's Freddy versus Jason. I'm a big slasher fan. And when they announced this movie, I was geeking out. I was at a point where I would go to the movies all the time on the weekends and watch like 3 movies a day. And there was this couple in the theater that was like talking about, oh, Freddy versus Jason comes out in a month. I'm pretty excited about that. And she would go like, yeah, I'm really excited for it too. And then I was the only one in the theater, and they just kept going like, man, I hope it's good. I don't really know much about it, but it sounds like it could be a lot of fun. And so I, for some reason, got up and started going to talk to them. It was a horrible social move because I was so excited about the movie. I wanted to talk with other people about the movie. It's like, because there's not a lot of other people to talk to about the movie. So
Did they ask for your autograph? It's like, oh, it's Jason.
no, they did not. I was 13.
Oh,
No, I was not 13. I was probably 14. But anyway, they just completely no-sold me. Me completely. They stopped caring about the movie the minute I came up and went, "Hey, you guys, I want to talk about the movie too." And they're like, "Not cool. You need to go away. We're on a date. Leave us alone." Even though we're the only 3 people in the theater, and I was like trying to be nice. So that let me know don't talk to strangers. Okay? Even if they're sucking down Twizzlers, don't go up and talk to them. But that hurt. But I had magazines that I would collect of Freddy vs. Jason, all the publicity that was coming out around it. I mean, the hype. They had a weigh-in with Michael Buffer where they had like Freddy on one side of the stage and Jason on the other, and they had like stats and they had, I mean, it was like this huge Vegas press tour. It was a big deal. That movie made a ton of money. It was number one at the box office, and it was the first R-rated movie I ever saw in a theater.
Oh.
Yeah, my brother brought me into that one, so that was fun. But anyway, Freddy vs. Jason in 2004 would be my choice as well. Long way of saying that. And really not that bad of a movie. It's kind of at times it's not that bad of a movie. I can defend Freddy
I mean,
vs. Jason.
I guess for Friday the 13th, before that movie, you're coming off of Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, and Jason Takes Manhattan.
And then after that, you've got 2009's Friday the 13th, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So, yeah, 2004's Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah, kind of like the fight sequence is great. I just hate there was never a sequel. I wanted a sequel to it.
Yeah, well, they were like leading into a sequel with the ending.
Mhm.
Was it,
Freddy does the blink like,
oh yeah, like, oh, I'm not really dead, even
yeah,
though Jason just cut my head off, but it is what it
completely.
is.
It's also got Jason Ritter in it, who is the son of, why am I blanking on his name? Um, Jack Ritter? No, that's his Three's Company character is Jack. Why am I not thinking of his name? Ritter. Anyway, you have it?
John Ritter.
John Ritter. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I can't believe I forgot John Ritter's name. Anyway,
Google is handy.
it is John Ritter. His son is in Freddy vs. Jason. Okay. Can't believe I forgot John Ritter's name. Move on to this. 2006's The Prestige or The Illusionist. Both came out in 2006. This one should
Um,
be easy.
so I've never seen either of these actually, but I always hear good things about The Prestige, so I'm going with that.
I have a copy of The Illusionist on DVD now that we've been doing these mystery boxes.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen The Illusionist. I've seen The Prestige multiple times. I have it on 4K. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. But I need to give Edward Norton a chance and watch The Illusionist at some point. But even to this day, I have not watched The Illusionist because I've always compared it with The Prestige because they came out around the exact same time. Any opinions in the chat?
Let's see. Hunter says The Prestige. Jody says The Prestige is incredible. Back to the last question. Everybody went Alien versus
Oh,
Predator.
really?
Yeah, everybody. It was unanimous. Smuff says 2009. Freddy versus, or no, that'd be 2009's Friday the 13th. Had some Skinamax level scenes in it. Yes, it did.
Yes, absolutely.
And Jeff says, by the way, I shared your video of Wang's with one of the owners. He was pumped about your visit. Well,
Oh,
we're pumped to return to Mr. Wang's. We love that
well,
place.
that's awesome. I can't confirm or deny that I've been in there since and maybe have snuck in another buffet. But Tyler, I hope that we can go back very soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man,
Do you
maybe
have the photo, by the way, on standby of the best photo ever taken in the
I
history of
don't
the
think I
Meltdown?
have it handy, but let me double check.
Oh my gosh. I wish you could show the Bussy version. I don't know. Do you have the Bussy version?
It's on my phone. I'd have to
Oh my
send it
gosh, it's so
myself.
good. What if I send it to you right now?
Oh, that works. I can
Because
pull it.
I gotta show you. I gotta show you people this. It's so good. Anyway, um, anybody else in the chat saying anything while I do this? Oh my gosh.
Nick says he hasn't seen either and not sure what either is about. Both about magicians, correct?
Correct. They're both very similar in tone, and the Prestige absolutely wiped the floor with it. Which
Prestige was a Christian Bale, correct?
that is correct. Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman are both
Gotcha.
in that. David Bowie also in that movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to give it a try.
Okay. I am sending you right now, Tyler, the famed edit of the greatest photo ever taken in the history of the Meltdown.
Alrighty.
Because
I am pulling the Hunter Bussy edit right now. And also, speaking of Hunter Bussey, he says he has another Bond casting for you. So
Give it to me, Hunter. Let me guess. I'm gonna go with. You're gonna pick. Who are you gonna pick? Ian McClellan.
here's the edit, fresh out of the theater.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Gosh, I love it. Greatest photo in the history of the Meltdown, while the edit is the greatest edit in the history of the Meltdown. It's so good. Fresh out of the theater by Lionel, Mr. Wings. So now I don't know if you'll believe me, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I have people in my life that randomly send me photos when they drive by Mr. Wang's now on Lakeshore, and they just snap a photo of Mr. Wang's, and they send me in their Wang shots, and they're good.
Well, maybe we should, have a new fortune cookie segment on
Maybe
on the show.
maybe so. Maybe so. I'm gonna make that I'm gonna frame that at some point, and I'm gonna hang it in here. And I'm just telling you now, just be prepared because it's the most perfect photo in the history of photo. I may get that photo tattooed on my body. I may have that happen. Do tattoos hurt?
um, Only a little bit if you go like kind of big.
Yeah, that's like a
Uh,
whole half sleeve, I guess, is what it would be called.
yeah, it was about like
Oh,
11 hours in total.
oh, Tyler,
Like
Tyler,
I did a like a 4.5 and then a 5.5 hour session. But then
Tyler.
I got another one that took like 8 hours straight. That was not fun.
No, but you obviously there's something about it that you enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, good for you, but like I have a dented steel book, and um I don't feel like that's nearly as painful as going through like 20 hours of tattoos.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Mm,
Especially the like 8 hour one. That one, it got to where like just everything was raw. Like I showed up at noon that day and left at like 9. It was just a long day.
that's wild.
But then this one, my artist is in Mobile. So like I get this done and then I have to hop in the car and just drive all the way back here.
Oh my gosh. Maybe get a hotel next time, Tyler.
Yeah, that might be the play.
Oh,
She's down in Orlando now, so I definitely have to,
yeah,
make a trip out of it.
for sure. Well, that's awesome. I love Orlando, and you can visit your favorite McDonald's in the history of the world over there in Orlando because
That's true. Largest McDonald's in the world.
what do they have? A bowling alley in there or
They got
something?
they got pizza. They got an arcade. They got a bowling alley.
Okay.
Um,
That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's go to this. 2007 in theater A is Juno, starring J. Jonah Jameson as well.
yes.
Or 2007's Knocked Up. We've brought Knocked Up before up on the program here, and I for some reason my brain couldn't say we brought Knocked Up before here on the program. Knocked Up
English is a weird language.
here on the program. And just, I forgot Knocked Up was in here and I brought it up, but I brought up Knocked Up. Anyway, Juno in theater A, Knocked Up in theater B. Which one are you seeing?
Juno.
You really don't like Knocked Up.
I wouldn't say I dislike it.
You dislike it. It's clear.
It's fine. It's fine. But I prefer Juno.
E.g., write it on the board. Oh, she's not here.
Oh.
Okay.
Womp womp.
Anyway, there we go. Juno or Knocked Up. There we go. Great
Oh, well,
cast
I'm
in
I'm
both.
I'm in the minority. Nick and Jody both immediately put in Knocked Up.
Yeah. I think it's the better movie, but that's just my opinion. 2011. This one I don't have strong feelings on, but they're just too similar to not put on here. Are you seeing No Strings Attached in Theater A, which starred Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman? Or in 2011, same year, are you watching Friends with Benefits,
Friends
starring
with benefits.
Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis? Mila Kunis is really good in almost everything she does.
Yes, she never gets credit for it either.
She never gets credit. She's never become like an A-lister,
No.
but she's great in every movie role that she's in.
Black Swan,
Oh yeah,
Ted,
yeah.
Family Guy, uh, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
You almost
Like,
forgot it.
uh, Hey,
Anyway.
Charles said he would go with Juno over Knocked Up. Thanks, Charles.
Thank God Charles is not in charge
Mm.
of our days or our nights. It's a reference to the Charles in Charge television show. It's not a personal shot at Charles. Anyway, No Strings Attached or Friends with Benefits. I actually think Friends with Benefits is pretty good. I actually like that movie.
That flash mob sequence, like,
Mm,
I feel like that was very of its time.
Very much. I'm
Yeah,
glad that those have sort of died down.
absolutely.
2013, are you seeing Olympus Has Fallen or White House Down? Do you know the difference between these two movies?
Let me see if I can remember. Olympus Has Fallen is Morgan Freeman as the president.
Yeah.
White House Down is Jamie Foxx as the president with Channing Tatum as like a bodyguard.
Do you know who the muscle is in Olympus Has Fallen?
Wasn't it Gerard Butler?
That is correct. Good job.
Gosh.
I'm sorry. You're forced to watch one of these two
Yeah,
movies.
neither one of these movies are good.
And they both came out at the same time, and they both have the same exact premise.
Yes.
And it's
But White House Down is more of a comedy.
Yeah, I'd say so. Olympus Has Fallen is more of a goofy action thriller.
Yeah, it plays it straight, but too much. I'll go White House Down. I don't remember the context for it, but I think Jamie Foxx kicks a terrorist in the face and says, "Don't touch my Jordans."
That sounds right. Let's go to this. 2013's This Is the End or 2013's The World's End? Do you know these two movies?
I know This Is the End. I really like This Is the End. What's The World's End?
The World's End is from the same group behind like Shaun of the Dead, and
Oh,
I think they go on a pub crawl and while the world is
okay.
coming to an end. I believe
Yeah,
that's what
This
that
Is the End is what I'm going with. I much prefer the group there with Seth Rogen and Jay Baruchel and James Franco.
Fun fact, I've not seen either of these two movies.
This Is the End, I think, is good if you like that pairing of like Seth Rogen and James Franco and are also like into celebrity culture.
Does This Is the End have, because I have seen Y2K,
Yeah.
it's got that same sort of setup?
Yeah, same sort of deal. It's a house party and then the world starts to end, but everybody's at this one house party.
And like Rihanna there and
All the A-list actors are there. At one point, Emma Watson comes in and she's looking for like just a safe place to hunker down, but she gets paranoid that like Seth Rogen and James Franco have the wrong ideas, and so she grabs a fire axe and threatens everybody and steals their stuff.
that sounds like a good time. I need to get that one on one of our DVD mystery pulls.
4K steelbook.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I know this one. This one will be quick. Everyone should have the same answer, but we're going to go to it. 1998. Are you going with Theater A that has ants or Theater B that has A Bug's Life? Both came out in 1998.
Yeah.
You know the answer, Tyler. Don't play
I feel
sophisticated
like
here.
I preferred A Bug's Life.
You've said that a dozen times on this show.
Have I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go with it then. I'll stay consistent.
Yeah.
I don't remember enough of ants to really champion it. Did find out the other day, when Gene Hackman passed, he was in Ants as General Mandible.
Ants is my uncle's favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's a bad joke. Ants is my favorite.
Oh,
It's my uncle's
right.
favorite. I'm so sorry.
Move on to the next
That's
one.
the worst joke.
That was awful.
That's the worst joke I've ever told. That's the worst joke I've ever told. 2014's The Equalizer or 2014's John Wick?
John Wick.
Have
All
you
day,
seen
every
The
day, twice.
Equalizer?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Just
I like it. It's great, but I'd prefer John Wick.
do you think The Equalizer, if it had come out a year earlier, would have ended up having that same phenomenon that John Wick did? Like, because they came out at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like John Wick it's more stylish.
Yeah.
It's more stylish, and I think it just builds a more interesting world
Right.
than The Equalizer does.
Both with multiple sequels.
Mm-hmm.
1997. I don't think you've seen either one of these movies. Tell me I'm wrong. Dante's Peak or Volcano? Have you seen either of those two movies? That'd be my bet that you have not.
No, what are these?
Dante's Peak is about a volcano that Pierce Brosnan has to fight. Volcano is about a volcano that Tommy Lee Jones has to fight.
Oh.
Which one of those two movies would you be more interested with? They're both fighting him with science and raw manpower and masculinity.
I guess I'll go Tommy Lee Jones.
You're going Volcano?
Yeah,
You
sure.
chose wrong. Dante's Peak is the better movie.
Oh, well, dang.
Volcano kind of sucks. Just imagine Tommy Lee Jones looking angrily at lava for like 2 hours. Like maybe you do want to see it more now.
You sold me on the movie.
Tommy Lee Jones at a press junket talking about staring at lava angrily for 2 hours. That's what Volcano is. Dante's Peak is actually pretty good. I actually think Dante's Peak is a highly underrated movie. Pretty good. We go to this. 2015 Spectre, which is the 4th Daniel Craig James Bond movie, or 2015's Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Oh.
Which one of those two are you going to go see?
Does Rogue Nation, is that the next one after
Ghost Protocol? That's the
okay.
5th one, yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll give that one a go then, since I've only seen Ghost Protocol.
It is the better movie. Spectre sucks. I hate Spectre. I need to revisit it, but I hate it. I remember hating it. I saw it 2 times opening weekend, hated it both times. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation would be my choice as well. Last one.
Anyway, Saber's in the chat, and he says, just going to ignore Linda Hamilton and Hetch and Keith David. What was Keith David in?
I guess Keith David was in Volcano, I guess.
Oh, well, then I chose correctly.
And
I chose the movie with Keith David.
And Haish was in Volcano as well, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So you're doubling down on Tommy Lee Jones looking angrily at lava.
With Keith David,
With
absolutely.
Keith David. I think Keith David's in that movie, yeah.
Does Keith David just play the lava?
I don't think he does.
Oh.
He voices the lava. There's a difference.
Well, he voices the lava.
Next question. This is the last one. 2024's The First Omen or 2024's Immaculate?
So
you agree both these movies very similar?
Yeah, very similar. And I think The First Omen's box office performance was hurt by Immaculate coming out like maybe 2 weeks before. I thought The First Omen was really underrated. Had some really good cinematography. I wouldn't mind revisiting that one at all.
Okay. So that's the one you're officially going with?
Yep.
The First Omen is fantastic. One of the most underrated movies of 2024. It was supposed to go straight to Hulu. They gave it a theatrical release. It didn't do very well. Hopefully, audiences continue to find it on streaming because The First Omen is a really great horror movie. Immaculate, I really enjoyed too.
I thought it was solid.
Really good. I would, if The First Omen or Immaculate had come out in 2025, in these first 3 months, it'd be my favorite movie of the year. Either one of them be my favorite movie of the year by far. I can't find a good movie this year, Tyler. It's driving me a little bit insane. And I'm trying. I went and saw Mickey 17. I really had high hopes that it would work. And I just feel like it's garbage. I feel like it sucks. The more I think about it, the more I hate it. And I hated it walking out. And I hate it even more now. I do not like that movie.
Give the Looney Tunes movie a chance this weekend.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be watching the Weather Channel. That's probably what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. We hope everybody stays safe, especially if you are driving anywhere within Alabama over the weekend or you live here in the great state of Alabama. Please be safe with these storms that are approaching for sure. We want to remind you about what's going on with our title sponsor. That's MyBookie.ag. At MyBookie.ag, you can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, anywhere, anything, anytime. There with MyBookie. Anything, anywhere, anytime. Anyone, anywhere, anything, everywhere. Anyway, I'm adding a lot of things. Everywhere, everything, all at once. MyBookie.ag. Make sure you use promo code NEXTROUND for that 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. You also get that $10 casino chip there at MyBookie at MyBookie.ag. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime there at MyBookie. That's going to do it for us. Tyler, have a safe weekend, my friend. We will see you guys on Monday. Looking forward to everybody checking in with us then. 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and that little notification bell. We will see you right here on the channel.